He was Sir Alistair Finch, a titan of industry whose name was whispered with fear and respect across the city of London. To me, he was the father I'd only seen in magazines, and tonight, at the most exclusive charity gala of the year, he would humiliate the little nobody waitress who was secretly his own flesh and blood. The ballroom glittered, a sea of diamonds and designer gowns. My starched black uniform felt like a costume, a disguise allowing me to move unseen through my father's world. My heart hammered against my ribs every time he passed, his booming voice cutting through the polite chatter. My mum had told me stories of his charm, but the man I saw was cold, arrogant, and utterly commanding. I was just a face in the crowd, one of the countless staff hired for the evening. My plan was simply to see him, to breathe the same air, and perhaps understand the man who never knew I existed. The moment it all shattered was a blur of motion. A portly guest stumbled backwards, knocking my arm just as I was serving champagne. The tray tilted. A single glass of golden liquid arced through the air and splashed directly down the front of Sir Alistair Finch's immaculate tuxedo. A collective gasp sucked the air from the room. All eyes were on us. Alistair looked down at the stain, then his gaze, as sharp and cold as ice, landed on me. He didn't shout. His voice was far worse, a low, venomous hiss that everyone could hear. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" he seethed, stepping closer. I flinched back, trembling. "This suit is bespoke Savile Row. It costs more than your entire miserable existence is worth." Tears pricked my eyes as the crowd watched, some with pity, most with smug amusement. I'm so sorry, sir," I stammered. "It was an accident." "An accident?" he scoffed, a cruel smirk twisting his lips. "Incompetence is not an accident. It's a character flaw. People like you don't belong here. You exist to serve, and you can't even manage that." He snapped his fingers at the event manager. "Get this charity case out of my sight before she ruins anything else." Humiliation washed over me, hot and suffocating. This was him. This was the man whose blood ran in my veins. My mum was wrong. There was no charm, only cruelty. But as I turned to flee, a calm, authoritative voice cut through the silence. "Alistair, that is quite enough." An elegant elderly woman I recognized from photos as my grandmother, Lady Evelyn Finch, stepped forward. She looked at me, her expression softening as she saw my tears. Then, her eyes fixed on the small, silver locket I wore around my neck, the one my mother had given me. Alistair turned on her, irritated. "Mother, this is none of your concern. The girl is a clumsy fool." Lady Evelyn ignored him, her gaze locked on my locket. Her own eyes widened with dawning recognition. "That locket," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "I gave that to Catherine the day she told me she was leaving you before you made your first $1,000,000. The world seemed to stop. Alistair's sneer faltered. He looked from his mother to the locket, and then, for the first time, he truly looked at my face. He saw my eyes, my chin, my mother's features, mixed with his own. The blood drained from his face, leaving behind a mask of pure shock. The whispers around us grew into a roar. Finding a strength I never knew I possessed, I met his horrified stare, my voice shaking but clear. "My mum said you were ambitious," I said, the tears now flowing freely. "She never told me you were a monster." He was speechless. The great Sir Alistair Finch, undone by a waitress and a ghost from his past. Lady Evelyn put a protective arm around my shoulder. "Come, my dear," she said softly, guiding me away from the wreckage of his reputation. "Let's get you away from all this." We walked out of that ballroom, leaving him standing alone in a spotlight of his own making, utterly disgraced. I didn't look back. I had come seeking a father and found a villain. But in the ruins of his cruelty, I had found my grandmother, my identity, and finally, my own power.